And we are live. Yo, what's popping? What's happening? My name is Aremu Smog, and this is part 2 of building a modern landing page in 2023 using Tailwind CSS inside of a REACT.JS, technically a Gatsby.js project. If you did not watch part 1, I said part 1. Part 1 is actually up on this channel. So this is part 1. This is a series, and I'm just building live here, building out this project called otherfaces.tech. Let me show you quickly. We're currently in waiting list, so you could go join the waiting list as well. So I'm just going to save you all of the gist, all of the drama and all of that, and I'm just going to get right into coding. We have quite a number of things to get through today. I'm not feeling so much up to it, but then we're just going to see how far we are going to go. So this is the landing page. This is the landing page that we're working on. Right, and so far from last week, these are progress so far. Local posts, 8,000. Yeah, so these are progress so far. So basically what we'll be doing today is just clean up a lot of the code and also a lot of responsiveness on this landing page. So that's actually my goal for today's session. Boom, let's get into it. So we're going to start from the very top, which is the nav bar over here. So I'll come over into the code base, then I'm going to search for nav bar. Boom, and that's it. If you come over here, you will see that on mobile, these two buttons, they disappear. So if I come over here and I inspect, what I need to look for is a sweet spot where this guy doesn't ram into it in an ugly way like we have currently, right? So I'm just going to come over to the code base and I'm going to say, so we have buttons style wrapper. So that's the correct. I need to remove this guy. I've abstracted this guy into an icon from last week. Go check out last week's video, and while you are here, you can try and subscribe as well. So buttons wrapper style. So I'm just going to do, so we have flex. So I'm going to do LG flex, that is for screens that are in LG or greater. I've forgotten what the value is right now. Pardon me, just check the CSS docs. Then I'm going to do hidden, save it up, and boom, that guy is gone. So, but we still have these guys. Which I think is pretty cool. Then let's go back to the design. Let's see if there is any other thing that I need to adjust. Okay, so when you open up this guy and you click on this guy, okay, I think it looks quite like what we have in the design, but I think that logo is a little big. What do you think? Yeah, I think the logo is a little big. So what we're going to do, so I'm referring to this logo. This is what we have currently. I'm currently working on the responsiveness of this website. This is part 2, by the way. If you're just joining this session, please drop some comments in the comment section and let's just have some fun. Okay, so what does the width of this guy look like on mobile? This is 102 pixels. So I'm going to come into the code base, hamburger, right? I'm going to come into the code base and I'm just going to say class name equals LG. No, I can do MD. I'll say MD. Let me confirm that hamburger. Oh yeah, I was modifying the wrong thing. It happens every time. So just make sure that whatever you're modifying, you pay attention to it, right? So I'm going to. So I say width. So I'm going to come over here and say class name equals MD with auto. Then width here should be 120 pixels. Hopefully that works. I think because we are using Gatsby image, it might not work. Let's see. Yeah, okay. I'm not applying that to the menu itself. So let's come over here and say class name equals MD with auto, and this should be width 120 pixels. And that's it. So the width of this guy is the same as this guy now on mobile. Fantastic. So the next thing is this close icon. This close icon over here. So the width now is 20 by 20. So all I need to do is just look for the close icon, obviously. This is it, right? So I can just come over here and say class name, right? MD equals width of 20 pixels. No, 32 pixels. Or I could just do width auto. Then the width, auto width is 20 pixels. Boom. Let's see what that gives us. All right, perfect. So this is looking good so far. The next thing we need to adjust is this guy, obviously, right? Let's see what its size on mobile, what it looks like. The width is 27 pixels. So I will come over to navbar and I'm just going to do this. I'm going to say class name equals MD width equals MD width auto, then this guy is width 27 pixels. So let's see what that gives us. Alrighty, perfect. So the header to a large extent now is responsive. So I will come over to the design. I'll come over to the design, then just check for a couple of things, right? Just to be sure that things look exactly the way that they ought to. Okay. Everyone in text writes code. Click on this guy, expand it. So I want to see what these guys look like on mobile. All right, especially like the spacing between them and all. Apparently, there's more space to the top here on mobile. So there's space to the top on mobile. So I'm going to add that spacing. So menu, list item wrapper. This is the guy that holds everything. List wrapper, we have padding right. Then I'm just going to do margin top over here. Margin top over here is auto, empty auto, while that is MD auto. Let me just add this guy to the right of the window, down window right of screen, and bring this guy right over here. Then bring this guy right up here. Okay, yeah, that's fantastic. And I can press Command B just to ensure that I can see the code and the interface side by side. Okay, so text right, then MD auto. So here we will do empty. Then I'm just going to get the empty value over here. Press Alt. Yeah, 100 pixels. So empty 100 pixels. Save it up. And let's see what this gives us. If you're on this stream, please just drop some comments in the comment section. Show me some love at the very least now. Yep. So, so far so good. I think things look pretty much the way they ought to. Responsiveness wise, right? Let me see. Okay, right. If you click on this guy, it looks like the way it ought to. But there is a tiny little problem. And that's, I think, is the font size. So the font size here is 24 pixels. If you come over here, I think the font size is 21 pixels. Yeah, obviously. The font size is 21 pixels. And that is coming from the design system. Somebody drop a comment in the comment section. Let's see. Thank you so much for joining AY. Oh, I like this new design style for the callouts. Looks interesting. Thank you so much for joining, man. Really appreciate it. Drop some comments in the comment. If there's any bug or anything that I'm doing wrong, please call me out in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to fix them up. I'm not trying to show off here or anything. Yeah, thank you so much. And I think, AY, you mentioned last week about the link to the code, right? So I dropped a link to the code last week, but apparently the repo was private, so there's no way you could have accessed the code. So if you come over to live and you check this particular session, let me just expand this guy, and you check the description, you have a link to code now. So if you click on link to code, it's going to give you access to this code. And where you have the code is landing page. So everything I'm working on over here, I push to this landing page branch. So yeah, I just thought to mention that. Thank you so much for joining. Share with your friends, let them join and have some fun as well. Okay, so let me get back to it. So as I was saying, right, I said that the font size over here is 24 pixels on mobile, but what we currently have over here is 21 pixels, right? And the reason for that is because I actually deliberately did not mention this last week. Is I have a text component, and this text component basically controls things like the values for all text variants that we have inside of this code base. So if you come here, you will see that we have a variant object, and you have H1, H2, H3, and all of that. And each of these variants have their own, they have their own classes that determines what they look like in terms of like sizes, line height, font weight, and all of that, right? So, which is some of the tips that I think I shared in this video. Now, it feels like I'm doing advertisement from WebBoss, but then why not? There is a video on this channel, WebBoss. There's a video on this channel. This video, where is the video? Yeah, this video. You're using Tailwind CSS wrongly. If you check out this video, there are some of the tips that I shared that I'm using in this particular component, just in case you check out this component and it looks so massive, like what is going on here? Why do we have so much styling here inside of an object? So that's the reason why we have that, right? So if I'm going to make a modification to the sizes on mobile, it means that the text variant that I'm using for the list items also have to be changed. So let me show you what I mean. So we have menu right now, and right now what we are doing is we are using a text variant of H3 and we are rendering it as an LI, as a list item. So which means we have all the styling for H3, but it gets rendered as a list item, which is the way list should be rendered in HTML. I don't know if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, let me just put a banner here, just in case. I think some people are joining, some people are leaving, right? If you are joining, just stay for a few minutes and let's see if it's going to be worth your time. I'll make it worth your time, by the way. So, but still, kindly subscribe, like, share, and comment. Okay, yeah. So let's get back to it. Okay, so I just thought to mention that just in case you are saying, oh, the font size is not the same. So that's the reason why the font size is not the same. So for the list items, so right now we have a margin bottom of 36 pixels between each list item. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to empty, that's a breakpoint, right? And I'm going to say that the margin bottom should now be 32 pixels, okay? ND 32 pixels. And I'm used to using arbitrary values in Tailwind CSS. It's probably a bad practice, but man, if you make it available for the people are most likely going to use it. So, yep, and we have that. So I think that's pretty much, like I mentioned last week, we are not adding these sections yet. So that's pretty much all we need to do in terms of responsiveness for this section. So I think this kind of looks good right now. Then up next, this section itself. So I will come over to index.js, which is the homepage, index.js, H1. So first is, I need to change the weight of this guy. I need to change the weight to 400. 400. Okay, I think 400 is no, it shouldn't be 400. Which should be 500 or something, but definitely not bold. I think it should be semi-bold, not bold, right? Cool stuff. Now, there's something you're going to observe here. Let me just show you quickly. Is if I come over here, you can see that this text, despite the fact that we are on a section, like we're already at a certain breakpoint, this text seems to be touching the edges. That's terrible. That's not nice enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, this section, instead of having this section, let me see. Okay, we're going to leave that section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a container component. It's basically a component that doesn't touch both edges, like across all screens, right? So I'm going to bring the container component. It's a custom component that I think I've created before now. Not that I think, that I have actually created before now. So bring this guy in here. Then let me see. Why is he showing? Okay. So I think okay, we have the entire header here. We can't move everything in there. So I need to move. So cut this guy. Bring it in here. Okay, yeah. So just replace this div with the container. Yep. Perfect. Save it up. Let's see. All right, perfect. Exactly what I needed. Can you see what happened when I added the container component? So this guy is no longer touching the edges on different screens again. So like I said, like the focus, of course, for today is responsiveness. You can see that these two buttons disappear when we reach a certain breakpoint, so that things don't look ugly. And when people ask me questions about responsiveness, like what breakpoint should they use in order to like make things responsive and look good, the truth is as time goes on, if you do this enough, you just get to know like what breakpoint you should use for stuff, right? So let me see. I want to see what this guy looks like on mobile. Now on mobile, you will see that I need to expand this guy a little. On mobile, if you check the landing page, you'll see that it is 2 lines. Everyone in tech writes code. Right now, everything is on 1 line. So the way I'm going to fix that is I'll come over here, right? Everyone in tech writes code. So I'm going to put a break component here. This is actually a custom component that I've created as well, right? I'm just going to say to break on tablets. Oh, okay, it should break on mobile. Wait, let me see what it's going to do if I do break on tablet. Okay, yeah, cool. So I can show you the code for this actually. So basically what we do is we have a break component and it accepts a variant called on, which is on what screen should it break, right? And you have const br style equals ctl into bracket, variant into bracket on, right? Basically we are trying to access the breakpoint in which it should hide. Then on desktop, it breaks when on MD screen, it is block. On screen lesser, it is it is hidden. Then on mobile, it is block and MD screen. Pretty much you kind of get like what the gist is. In fact, it looks like even it looks like even tablet is not on here, but you get the gist essentially. So I'm just going to say break. By default, it breaks on all screens, but I only want it to break on mobile. So save it up. I think this is actually beyond like Tailwind CSS. It's also like some kind of crash course into JavaScript and some thinking when you're building React component as well. I don't know if anyone agrees with me on that, but then we move regardless. Okay, yeah. So I think this is good to go in a way. I think this kind of good to go. This kind of good to go. I think, yeah, even though this is good to go, I kind of have an issue. And my issue is that this guy keeps spreading to like almost the edges of this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a max width to this guy, div. I'm going to add a max width. I'm just going to say div. And if I'm talking too much, please let me know. Class name, because max width. I'm just going to do 900 pixels, right? Then I'm going to say, so I want to add a max width to this section. I'm going to say MX Auto, so to ensure that it is at the center. MX Auto, save it up. No, 900 pixels seem like a lot. Let's do 700. All right, cool. I think I like what this looks like right now. So let me see what this looks like on mobile. On full screen, duplicates. Then I'm going to bring this guy out and expand it. Okay, we are telling the stories of the next blah, 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 blah. I'll probably just add another breakpoint for this. So I would say on medium screen, I would say max width. These are things that I think that responsiveness is really is something that is really hard to do, and it requires like a lot of patience, right? So let me just expand this guy, right? I'm just going to say MD max width equals MD max width is, let's do 1000 pixels. Oh, I did 100 pixels. What in God's name is that? Somebody. But we have something that is hanging down here. So there are two things we could do. Is either I increase the max width value or reduce it. I will reduce it instead. I'll do 950 pixels. All right, cool. I think this looks good to me. on mobile. So I guess I'll just keep these two screens so that I will have the mobile and so that we have the mobile and so that we have the mobile version and also the desktop version of this guy. So okay, seems I have to adjust this guy. And let me bring this guy to the bottom. Okay, yeah, perfect. So that allows me to do this, and I can come here and pick a device. Let me do iPhone 12 Pro. Okay, I know the reason why this guy is behaving the way it is. That's because of this button. Okay, but no matter, we'll find a way around it. Let me just refresh this guy. Cool stuff. So the next thing we need to pay attention to is the button. If I come over to the button, if you see here, the button size we are currently using is large. Let me check the size for large. So for large, we say that the minimum width for large should be should be 320 pixels. So let's check the design and let's see the width that was given to us. So the width here is 180 pixels. So on large screens, large is 320 pixels. On smaller screens, the width should be 180 pixels. So save it up and let's come back here. Let's refresh. I hope I modified for large. Okay, let me see. Inspect this guy. Size is large. Something has to be wrong somewhere for the width not to be changing. Oh, it is minimum width. That's the problem. So MD minimum width is 120. So now the width of this is now 180 pixels. I think I'll make it 200 pixels just to ensure that we have some additional padding over here. Okay, so now there is an overflow and I need to find out what is causing that overflow. So for that reason, I'm just going to switch from this guy to responsive and I'm just going to adjust it. Right, I want to see where the overflow is coming from. What's causing the overflow? I'm guessing it is all these pill items. So if I come over here and I comment this section out for now, I think this is basically what debugging on the front end looks like. Sometimes you just need to comment things out to see, oh, is it working the way it ought to? And if it does, then you go ahead and looks like I was incorrect. Let me refresh this page. And let me check the full page. Is there an overflow here as well? Everything looks good. Everything pretty much looks good. Everything pretty much looks good, right? Yeah, everything pretty much looks good. Yeah, so let me bring back these guys and let's see if that remains, if the story is the same. So bring this guy and okay, there is even no overflow. It is just the way the pills were that made me felt like there was an overflow. Oh, okay, looks good. If you're on the stream, you just join. Please just drop some comments in the comment section. Kindly subscribe, like, share, and check out otherplaces.tech to join our wait list, which is basically the website that we are currently building. Alrighty. So let me refresh this page and let's see. Let me refresh this page. This page seems quite adamant. Everything looks good and works fine here, but over here it doesn't. So I will just come over here and do local webs. Okay, yeah, then inspect. All right, and we are good to go. Perfect. So the next thing I want to do is, or the next thing I want to make responsive, I will leave this section for now. I'm just going to ignore this section for now and come down here. There are some copy changes that I need to make to this. And the first one is regarding newsletter. So the text on top of here should be newsletter, not subscribe. So I'm going to say newsletter. newsletter. Then the text here is going to change to value is going to be newsletter, right? Then the text here should be join our newsletter. Okay, I think subscribe actually makes sense. We'll leave it as subscribe. Then join our newsletter. Be part of. Okay, yeah. So that text is correct. Be part of number of people. So this data is for now. Just do be part of 1,000 plus people who get notified when we publish new stories and roadmaps. Save it up, then come back here and let's see. Okay, cool stuff. Subscribe, join our newsletter, blah blah blah. Okay, but there is a major problem. There is a problem in that this text, okay, it's not really a problem per se, right? But the text looks smaller now, so it kind of makes this section look imbalanced. So what I'm just going to do is the input, the text input, yeah. So I'm just going to make this 45 pixels instead. Yeah, so it looks closer to it, and I think that looks visually better in a way. So in terms of responsiveness, let's see what we can do for this guy. Okay, I think, okay, perfect. So right now we have on all screens, it is spanning 6 columns. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do MD, and I'm just going to do call span 12, so that it spans the entire 12 columns on mobile, right? I feel like that looks good already. Let me see. Let's see. Okay, we are seeing it already. I'm still saying let me see. So we are seeing this already. So call span 12, and this guy looks good already. What else do I need to do here? So let me just adjust the width just to be sure that it looks good, looks good, looks good, looks good. So an additional thing I may want to do actually, because of screens like this, I may actually probably just add like, say, class name. I would say MD, I would just say max width, right, is, let's say 400 pixels, right, 400 pixels. All right, so this means that on all screens, this is what it will look like for the most part. Okay, I think I like that. Love that. Cool stuff. Responsiveness is the ghetto, if you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so the next section we have to tackle is this section, a clear roadmap for you. So let's see what it looks like on PC right now. Right, so we just have a grid and some columns. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll come over to index.js. That's our home page, right? And roadmaps. Perfect. So let's come over here. A clear roadmap for you. Container. Let's add the container first. Container. Yeah, so that prevents it from touching the edges. That's a custom component that I had created earlier. Then grid calls 3. So on large screens, I'm going to make it a 3-column grid. On medium screens, MD, I'm going to make it a 2-column screen, cross 2. And generally, and on other screens lesser, I'm just going to make it just a 1-column screen. So let's see what that gives us. Cool stuff. So you see, and as I expand, the number of columns expand. This is fantastic. This is fine by me, 120%. Let me come over here and let's see. Okay, yeah. So that way it's never too small, it's never too big, and everything looks good and fantastic. Perfect. So what other thing do I need to do here? So there is, so there's something I wanted to quickly talk about. If you're just joining this live stream, or if it's your first time joining this live stream, this is a two-part stream, and I'm just going to be explaining some of the things that we've done in the past live stream that is now showing up here. You discovered that the typography here, if you checked our progress last week, the typography here was clash display, right? Why right now, if you check here, the typography here is general sans. So what I did is I have a text component that basically renders all the variants of my text based on the design system, right? So you have H1, H2, H3, H4, right? Even though this heading is actually an H4, right? So I have an array here of primary font list, and this is something that you can do like if you're building like a design system and all of that, right? So I have a primary font list, right? And basically what I did was, is my variant, that is H1, H2, H3, or the variant that the user is about to set, or the developer is about to set, does it include the text variant? So I say is in primary font list, I say primary font list that is H1, H2, H3 includes text variant. To demonstrate this, just keep an eye on this font, on this heading font, product management, UX, and all of that, right? So if I add H4 to this, save it up, you'll see that the font is going to change. You then want to observe the change in the font. If you observe the change in the font, please drop a comment in the comment section. So if you are building a design system, like these are things that you could do in order to like just make sure that things can easily scale, and you don't have to every time style your text and all of that, right? So I just thought to mention that. So that's something I'm doing inside of the code base. So I would just do that, right, and leave it like the way it is right now. So I just did that to show an example. So let me go back to, this was a mistake. Yeah. So let me go back to the home page, index.js. Right? If you're just joining this session, please just like, subscribe, comment, and drop some, just like, share, and drop some comments in the comment section. Okay, so inside of here, I'm looking for roadmaps. Yeah, this is roadmaps. Then this is so featured roadmap, that's a component. Then I need to add some margin to the bottom. So I'm going to do MB2, save it up. That's not getting added, or that's not visible. Visible. Okay, I'm adding it to the wrong thing. This is what happens when you're too excited about what you're working on. So class name was MB4. All right, perfect. But MB4 is a lot, so I'm just going to do MB2 just to ensure there's some spacing between the heading and the body text. And in terms of responsiveness, I think we've pretty much sorted this guy. Perfect. Someone dropped a comment in the comment section. Let me check on that. They said, oh, yes, I did. Fantastic. That's by Taiwo Aziz, aka Iyawo Alaja. Thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it. Okay. So I think in terms of responsiveness, we are pretty much done. Yep. Then I can begin to add new sections to this guy. I can begin to add new sections. So cool stuff. So the new sections there are 4 people on this live stream. Drop a comment, let me know you, let me meet you, let's interact, let's bounce, let's build, and all of that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, let me just put up the banner again. I think maybe in the future I will hire someone to be helping me change the banner and everything. So right now, I'm going to close this guy out, and I'm going to take VS Code to full screen just to ensure that I'm able to deal with the new sections like better. So it's not a good idea that you are dealing with responsiveness and you're already like working with a very small screen. At least that's the way I prefer to work. If you have a better workflow, please share in the comment section. And what do you think about the music? I can't really use like a lot of music because then we get copyrighted and they're going to kick us off YouTube, and we don't want that to happen. If the music is getting too boring, I can change it. So this is our MVP page, and I'm about to add this new section. So just give me a sec. My internet went off for a bit, but I'm back now. I'm back. Okay, so the section here So this is the new section we need to add. And after this section, what I'm just going to do is just clean up the code base, and we are done for today's live stream. So let me check if I have this image. I'm not sure I have this image. And a lot of things seems to be going on here, right? It looks scary and all of that, yeah, but this is Smoke Daddy. This is Smoke Daddy. I ain't scared of nothing. Okay, yeah. So first, one thing I observed, so one of the things I like to do is, like, of course, like, try to understand what you want to build, what you want to write code for. Is we have an image here, and there seems to be a shadow from like bottom to top, on top of it. Then it has all this border and all of those things, all the shenanigans around it. Things designers do with hope of they will scare us, but then they ain't scaring Smoke Daddy. We're going to do it. So after this guy, role replace, declare roadmap for your newsletter section. Before the newsletter section, that's where the section is going to go. So I'm going to say section, right? So for now, I'm just going to try and build the component out like manually, and then we'll clean up later, right? Even though 99.9% of times when people say they will clean up, they don't clean up later. But I am going to clean up later. So I'm going to bring a container in here, right? I'm going to bring a container in here. Then I'm going to make this guy. So I can make this guy a div. Yeah, I'm going to make this guy a div. Make this guy, then make this guy a section. Boom. So we have the image area here. Let me see if I can view the grid. Who knows how to turn on grid in Figma? Pixel grid. No, that's not layout grid. Okay, yeah. So it's Command G. So this allows me to see the layout for this guy, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this guy spans 5 grid items. Cool stuff. So I'm going to come over here and create a div, the image, right? And this guy, of course, right now, class name equals grid columns. We have a 12 grid column. Then we are going to make the gap in between each of the column items. We're going to make it 3 just for now, right? And I'm going to come over here and say class name. How many columns did it cover again? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 columns. So I'm going to do grid md grid call span. That grid call span. Grid columns. Okay, yeah, it should be grid calls span 5. I remember from the last time. Then grid call span. Sure. This guy wants to make me feel like I'm a fool, but that is not going to happen, right? Then, of course, the text section div, right? MD class name. I'm just going to copy and paste this guy. I was about to just come over here. Command Shift Option down. You duplicate a piece of a block of code. This guy is 6, right? Then learn, practice, this, copy. So first we have text, variant. Oh, we have 2 new comments. Let me check. What am I making? Okay. Oh, is this person still on here? Thompson TG. So this is what I'm making. The landing page for this website. Can you see? Oh, shoot. I am in here. This is what I'm making. Can you see what I'm doing now? Can you see my screen? If the person hopefully is still online, this is what I am making. Alrighty. So learn, read, practice. I think I still need to find a way. I need to find a middle ground between showing code and showing the design, right? So such that, oh, okay. Oh, you're still on the stream. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay, you said I guess. Right. So I'm still on the stream. But I think I need to find a way to show both the design and the code at the same time so that if new people join up, they can know what exactly I'm making here. But thank you so much for asking. So learn, read, then text. Variant is H2 or H3 probably. Then I'm going to paste this guy in here. I'm not going to save it up yet. Let me save it up and let's see what it gives us on screen. Okay, so learn, read, and practice. Cool. Okay. There's a massive lag on the stream. Oh, wow. That's internet. Definitely internet. Oh, my goodness. Call span 12. Wow, so sorry about that. I should probably switch to a better internet provider, or probably the streaming service I'm using. I should probably try and get a better one ahead of the next session. Thank you so much for pointing that out, Thompson TG. Thank you. Okay, so this should be call span 5. It should be call span 6. Column span 12, not grid call span. Okay, yeah. And you can see that this guy is on the left-hand side. Of course, obviously, nothing major is going to show up yet. So what I want to do now is I want to bring in an image for this guy. For this, I want to bring an image for this. So static image. I'm just going to copy the code for this Gatsby static image. Index.js, no, navbar. So Gatsby static image, that's what I'll be using. Then go back to the home page, right? Then paste it, right? And the image, let me see if I have a dummy image in here. Public, source, assets, images. So yeah, so I just need to, I will just go to Pexels to download a portrait or something. Pexels. Probably I could just use my portrait or something. Let me see. Okay, yeah, I could just use my portrait. I have some images over here on my desktop. Documents. Web boss. Okay, I was trying to share the banner. Okay, web boss. Web boss and web boss, OFT match, yeah. Then I think I'll just use this image. Yep, I'll just use this image. Just use this image. I'm trying to open the Finder, new Finder window. Documents, web boss, OFT, other faces.tech. I'm trying to get the code base. Just give me a sec. Fine. Open recent. Web boss. What I know that's where it ought to be. So I'm surprised I can't find it here. Other faces.tech. Okay, yeah. So this is the code base. Perfect. Source, assets, images. Then Then I'll just copy this guy over here and just say portraits. Portraits, cool. Then I'm going to come over here and say assets, blah, blah, blah. Of course, this guy now has to be just 2 steps outside of the directory. Then I'm going to say portrait. Engine. Save it up and let's come back here. So it says static image is not defined, so I need to import static image from Gatsby image. Gatsby plugin image. Of course, this is going to be tiny, right? And I'm guessing this file is super large. Let me open. So I'm just going to edit this guy. File, edit. I think there's a way to edit. There's a way to, oh my goodness. Okay. So we have let me be sure I have the correct name, rename, then just copy the name and bring it over here. Paste. Save it up. Refresh this guy. Okay, yeah. And the image shows up now. Fantastic. So I'm going to remove the width, save it up, right? Then the width is going to be, the width is just going to, the width is going to be auto, right? Save it up, right? Then I'm going to add some styling class name. This is where it gets fun, or this is where it gets interesting rather. Class name. Just do border now. For now, border 2, then border red. Save it up. Oh, then border radius. The way you add border radius is by using rounded. And let me see if I can get the border radius from the design. The border radius is okay. There's a lot of masking and all of that has happened inside of this design. So I'll just use a border radius of 4 pixels. So I'll just use rounded SM. Yeah, I'll just do rounded. Save it up, then come back here. All right, yep, that shows up over there. Okay, fantastic. We are getting there. So right now, I'm going to do something. I'm going to add some padding to the left. I'm going to add some padding to the left. Let's say just to, okay, cool stuff. Then for this guy as well, just to ensure that we have some space between the text and the image, I'm going to add some, yeah, it seems like I will need more than a padding here. I'll just add a div in here, actually. I'll just add a div in here. Then I'm going to make this span from 5. All span of 5. All right, cool. I think this works for me. But there's a tiny little problem, and the problem is, okay, since there's a new comment, I've always wondered why I would do static import images. So, okay, I've always wondered why I would import static images instead of using part of the image. Am I missing something? Oh, you are not missing anything. Actually, I use, this is within Gatsby. I'm using Gatsby. Oh, thank you. I'm going to zoom in. Let me know once this zoom level is fine by you. And I'm going to iseg. Let me know, is this zoom level all right for the code? I think I could reduce my terminal. Okay, cool. So let me drag this down a little and explain how I do static import. So because I'm using Gatsby, I'm able to do this. So if I use Gatsby static image, right? And you can just do relative imports once you know where your image is inside of the directory, right? A lot of people don't like using Gatsby these days because of GraphQL, right? You could do the same thing in Next.js. Next.js image also supports this as well. But if you are using Create React app, you might run into a bit of an issue with trying to import images. Basically, just ensure that the images are within your public folder if you are doing this within Create React app. But if it's within Gatsby.js or Next.js, you can just do relative imports for images. I hope that answered your question. If it doesn't, please, I would be more than happy to go over it again. So save it up, then come over here. So as I was saying, there is a tiny little problem in that the text here, this text here is supposed to be at the center according to the design. This text here is supposed to be on the vertical center with this image. So what I'm going to do to make that happen, oh, you're welcome. So what I'm going to do to make that happen is I'm just going to add new div in here, right? Then bring this guy up. So I'm going to change the text variant. So a path made easy for you, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to bring that in here. Oh, you're welcome. Okay, I think I've said you're welcome like 10 times now because I don't get a lot of people joining this stream. So just having people join this stream and ask questions, I was just so excited. Thank you so much. So P18, right? Let me see what this looks like now. Okay, cool stuff. So I think it's going to make sense what I'm about to do now. Class name. Class name, we have flex, and I'm just going to do items center. Right, but if I do this, this is not going to work. Yeah, so it has to be flex. The flex direction has to be column, right? Flex direction has to be column, and I need to wrap the text inside of a div as well. I guess this is why people hate HTML, right? This is why people say HTML is trash and all. Okay, let me see. Why is it still not getting aligned? So we have this guy, and we have this guy, we have flex. Okay, I guess I know what's going on here. Okay, so I need to do a height full for this, right? Nope. Let me do, so I would just try and add background colors. Oh, shit. I could as well just do this, actually. I didn't need all that div. I could as well just do flex, items, center, flex, then I'm going to do flex column, right? Once you switch to flex column, then your default axis is now on the vertical axis, right? So instead of using items, I'm going to do justify center, actually. Okay, yeah, and it works. So this is something that messes with your brain when you're dealing with flex. So by default, your flex direction on web is horizontal. So if you do items center, if you do justify center, you're doing alignment to the horizontal center. So if you change the flex direction to column, that is, the default direction is now column. It means that for you to bring things to the center, you still need to do to the vertical center, you still need to do justify center. So that was a mistake I made. So now this looks close. So this looks close enough, right? So the text is at the center, then we have the learn more button. So let's add the learn more button. So yeah, I have a component for literally everything, just to ensure that I don't have to do a lot of inline styling, even though it is still inline styling in a way, just at least a good excuse that helps me sleep better at night. So no class name yet. So the variant for this button is alternative, right? Then the text, that's the prop, is learn more. Save it up and let's see what that gives us. Right, cool stuff. Justifies for the cross axis, aligns for the primary. Oh yeah, that's a good tip. Justify is for the cross axis, align is for the primary axis. Yes, it's fantastic. I think I would have to take some time out to wrap my head around this, but thanks for sharing. Yeah, exactly, vice versa. Justify is for the primary axis, align is for the cross axis. So on mobile, for people who write React Native, on mobile, if you're doing justify, by default, that's your primary axis because things are vertical on mobile. Then on web, things are horizontal by default, yeah. So that makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much for sharing, Segfault. I hope I see you next week. I really enjoy, I'm enjoying this session with you. Yeah. Okay, class name equals empty. So I'm just going to add some margin to the top here. Empty 8, just to ensure that there is some margin. Okay, it's not accepting the empty. Then I can come over here and just say class name equals MB. Okay, let me delete this guy. MB8. Okay, yeah, perfect. So either way, either you're adding margin top or bottom, as long as you get what you design. Yep, we have a new fan. Whoop. I look forward to seeing you next week while we complete this website. Thank you so much. Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah. Learn more. Okay. So we have this guy now. I think it looks pretty good. The alignment is there and all of that, right? The next thing we need to do now is so let's just be sure that things look the way they ought to according to the design. Alrighty. So looks like we need to add some padding or margin to the top and to the bottom, especially considering that right now this guy right now in our execution is touching. It should not be touching this horizontal rule. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, right? I'm going to come over here, rather, class name, right? I'm going to do padding, right? Padding top of 120 pixels, then padding bottom of 120 pixels as well, or 160 pixels. And let's see. Okay, yeah. All right, cool. All right, cool stuff. Nice. So that's for the overall stuff. So the next thing is, so we've been able to undo this guy. Well, we are not done with this guy quite yet, if I'm being honest, because we have an horizontal line here, right? And there is this little thing. I'm not sure if I'm going to spend time working on this guy, but I think this horizontal rule, at the very least, we should work on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over here and say HR. Sounds like human resources, but not that HR, just normal horizontal rule that you know and love, and probably even hate. So it says HR is not defined, so I need to import it. So it's one of those components that I've created. I'm going to explain why I had to create an horizontal rule component. So please just stay with me. I have an explanation for this. So let me go into the HR component. Okay, yeah. So default variant should be blue to red. I'm going to come. There's something I was trying to do over here that I'm still going to get to hopefully on this stream as well. We're almost an hour into this stream. Amazing. I thought I was just going to do 45 minutes and just move over live, but it's good to have people on here. So HR, BR button, newsletter, text component, and all of that, right? Then HR. I'm looking for the HR, but I can't find it. Save it up and let's try again. Let me refresh this page. Okay, it says element type is invalid. Okay, yeah, you should have said that. You should have said that. So I needed to refresh. So I'll just do import HR from components /HR. Save it up, and I think that should solve the problem, right? Okay, it is showing up, but it is actually down here. Oh, interesting. That means I added it to the wrong section of the website. So HR. Oh, I see. That was my mistake. Cool stuff. This guy bring it in here. Yeah, learn practice. Am I sure? Yeah, that's where I want it to be. That's exactly where I want it to be. Okay, yeah. So it shows up here now. That's definitely not what we want. That's definitely not what we want. So I'm going to make this guy relative. I'm going to make this guy relative. Then I'm going to add a class of absolute to it, just to ensure that it can overlap this guy and even go behind it, just like we have it over here, right? So I'm going to say class name equals absolutes, right? Save it up. And of course, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And that's because this component right now doesn't know to accept class name as a prop. So I'm going to do class name, right? And it's nothing for now. Then I'm just going to change this guy to a template literal, change it up to a template literal. Then I'm now able to pass the class name, save it up, and yeah, with absolute now and gone. But it will be back. Of course, it has to come back. Come over to index.js. Then I'm just going to do top for now, top 0, then left 0 as well. And let's see what that gives us. Okay, still nothing. Let me change the Z index up to, let's say, 20, and let's hope that it shows up. This guy's relative, this guy's absolute, top 0, left 0. Then the width should be full as well. Okay, yeah. So that was the missing piece. Make the width full as well. Awesome. So I think to execute the other part of this is actually relatively simple. I know that, so this is currently ramped up to the top of this guy, right? And I know that the distance from here to here is 120 pixels, obviously because I added a padding of 120 pixels here, right? Then I just need to add some additional space here. I could, however, come in here and see, let me see if I can measure the distance from here to here. That's about 126 pixels. So what I can do is I could come in here and just say top should be calc. Okay, I could either calculate or just do top 120 pixels plus 126 pixels. That's 246 pixels, right? I'll just do 246 pixels. 246 pixels. And let's see what that gives us. All right, yeah. So it's overlapping, but now it overlaps our image, and we don't want this horizontal rule to overlap our image, of course. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the Z index of 20, which I added here, right? And it goes behind it. It goes right behind it, and that's exactly what we want. So this looks very similar to what we have in the design right now, right? A couple of things. So this guy, I'm going to make this guy 1 pixels. It's looking to, yeah, it's beginning to affect my eyes or something. Then I think I will make this guy 236 pixels instead as well. Alrighty, and we are done with this section. So, yep. So, no, I didn't design it. I had a friend do the design for me. So let me just give a backstory into this design, right? This is actually for an idea that I and a friend are working on, and I and a couple of friends are working on. It's called otherfaces.tech. Let me show you the website, otherfaces.tech. We are currently in waitlists, right? And basically what we are trying to do is just tell the stories of other people in tech who don't write code. So that's why we call it otherfaces.tech. So we are currently in waitlist. You can check it out at otherfaces.tech and just join our waitlist if you'll be interested in doing that. So the next phase, of course, is to get out of waitlist and build stuff, right? Because I have a 9 to 5, the team has a 9 to 5. I just decided to build out the entire startup, if you may call it that, live on YouTube. So I'm doing this every Sunday, just spending like a couple of hours writing code and just having some fun. And I'm blown away that people are actually joining this live stream. So that was why the other time I kept saying thank you. Yeah. So I didn't design it. I had my designer friend, who is like one of my co-founders for this idea, do the design. Building in public, yes. Thank you. All right. So I think the other thing I want to add now is this shadow fill that is in the design right now. Yes, this is going to be on GitHub. It is on GitHub. Let me show you. If you come to WebBoss and you check the description of this video, this live stream, let me just mute. I will have to mute it, I guess. If you check the description of this live stream, so there's a link to code. I don't know if you can see this. Oh, my profile picture overlaps that. Let me just drop the banner so that I can show you that. Yeah, I think I could just scroll up, I think. Okay, yeah. So you have the link to code over here on GitHub. So Once I'm done with today's session, I'm going to push everything to GitHub. The branch you should be checking is the landing page branch, because that's literally what we are working on right now. Thank you so much for joining. Right. So the code is going to be on GitHub. I hope that answers your question. Cool stuff. And there are other videos on the channel that you can check out as well. We have videos about how to build Google Chrome extension. There was this video I did of interviewing people on the street. When we hit 1,000 subscribers, I made a video. Yeah, just check it out. Thank you. Let's get back to writing some code. So what I want to do now is I want to add the shadowy fill to the image. So right now, we have the image. We have the image, but it doesn't have that shadow fill, right? And what I'm going to do is, on top of the text holding the image, right, inside of here, I'm going to make this guy relative, right? And I'm going to create another div, right? And I could just do a self-closing tag for this div actually, right? I'm just going to say that the class name should be BG. I'm just going to do BG black for now. I'm going to say that the opacity should be 10, just to show that I'm not lying, so to speak. Then I'm going to say absolute, left 0, right 0, then top 0 as well. Then the width should be full, and the height should be full as well, right? So let me save this up and let's see what that gives us. Of course, it doesn't show yet. Let me see whatever is missing here. Let me remove the opacity and let's just make everything black for now. Okay, it's not showing. It's not showing. BG absolute left, top 0, height full. So what could be the reason for that? Let us inspect. Almighty inspect that we know and we love. Okay, so what's happening to this guy? Absolute left 0, right 0, top 0. I hope I'm using the right commands. And left 0, yeah, right 0, then the width is full. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to try and do something. I'm going to take this out of absolute, then I'm just going to make the background to be yellow for now, and let's see what that gives us. Okay, yeah. So I guess I might need to adjust the Z index. Yeah. So I think that's usually like a very good way to test things. Just add a color. If there's a behavior you're expecting, remove that behavior and just see the way things work. So I'm just going to do Z to a 10. BG black. Yeah, and that works. So if this works, then everything is going to work. So background, BG opacity, background. So actually, let me just do opacity of 20 for now. Just to, So it has that dark feel, but not quite the dark feel that we have in the design. In the design, it is from bottom to top. So that's the way it was. So for this, what I'm going to do is, in my head, what I'm thinking of doing is, I'm just going to do BG gradient to top, right? Then I'm going to do BG. Then I'm going to do from black, yeah, from black to, let's just say white for now, right? Let me remove this guy. I don't need BG black again. Opacity, forget about opacity for now. I literally don't need opacity for now. Okay, yeah. I think even with the opacity seems to be working though. Let me do 50. Okay, yeah. Of course, as expected. Cool stuff. So from black to white. Alrighty. From black to white, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do filter. then multiply, mix, blend, multiply. So that's what I'm going to do. Yep. Don't know if you saw what just happened right now. Whoop. Then let me remove the opacity of 50. I'm just going to leave it as white. Okay, yeah, I think I will add the opacity so that it is not too harsh here at the bottom. So I'm just going to do opacity of, let's say 80. Let's see. Cool stuff. So you have this dark feel from bottom to the top. How amazing is that? Cool stuff. So, alrighty. I feel like this is looking like it, right? Then I think, then the next thing we want to do, of course, is now to begin to think about responsiveness. Oh, my back hurts. Just relax a little. Okay. I've been avoiding working with gradients. I think I should give it. Yeah, you should. You know, and Tailwind CSS really makes it very easy to work with gradients, right? When I started working on this last week, I was scared of actually touching the gradients part of it, but I just went to the docs and it was really easy. And I think that's why Tailwind CSS is amazing, right? Like this is looking good. I was blown away by the time we added gradient to this and it was looking really, really, really good. Say yes, good vibes. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, yeah. So, okay, yep. I think we are getting there. So the next thing I want to do now is, or the next section that I want to work on is these items behind these items over here, right? It's basically a replica of this, right? But we have the text and we have some read now. Let's just do it. I don't want to overthink it. I think when I start overthinking stuff, then that's when it becomes difficult to then think about it, right? So I'm just going to say, so I'm going to come over here. So what I like to do is just create some form of data that I can work with here. So I'm just going to come here and say count articles or featured articles. Count featured articles equals this guy. Then I'm just going to say, of course, I'm going to say title, the title of the article, something like practice it, right? Then description, maybe not description, maybe summary. Yeah, I think summary feels better than description. Summary, let me just copy this text. Oh, you can't even see the design. I think I was using the other screen. That's why. So sorry about that. So come over here and summary. Then I'm just going to duplicate this 3 times. Yep. Then I can come over here. So what I'm going to do is, let me collapse this guy. I'm going to create a new component and call it const featured article, right? And I'm going to come over here. And of course, it's going to accept props, title, summary, and I didn't pass a URL. Okay, we'll just use like a default URL for now. So I'm going to steal a lot of the markup that we have here. I wrote this code. I promise I did not steal this code on the internet. So please pardon me. I'm going to, especially for this image section, I'm going to copy this image. I'm going to copy this guy, right? I'm going to copy this guy, and I am going to just return this guy, right? So most of the things that are here, I wouldn't need again, right? The image, of course, there is kind of some form of overlap. We'll get to that. But I think for now, the focus is just to show something on screen, right? So I'm going to come down here. So learn, practice, all of these guys, all of these shenanigans. Then I'm going to, okay, it should even be below this guy. No, it shouldn't be below. Okay, yeah, so it should be after this guy. So I'm going to do section, right? Then of course, featured articles.map. Sorry, I'm not showing anything on screen at the moment. Okay, but it's fine. Featured articles.map. Then I'm going to do article. Nope, I'm using what do you call it? I'm using Tailwind CSS for this. Everything. So, but the thing is, the way I work with Tailwind CSS is I create custom components that I work with, which has like a lot of configuration that handles the styling for me, right? So this is not MUI. I don't like MUI. I love Tailwind CSS. Tailwind CSS. Tailwind CSS is big. I just love it. So sweet. Because for things like gradient, those are things that if you're using something like MUI, I've not used MUI, right? So I don't have the best opinion about MUI, right? But I feel like you might need to write like a lot of custom CSS to achieve things like gradients. But with Tailwind, like a lot of things are abstracted and you just need to like write in a few texts and you have a gradient. Last week, I didn't know how to create a gradient in Tailwind. I didn't, okay, I knew how to create a gradient in CSS, but I didn't enjoy creating a gradient in CSS. So I started using Tailwind CSS. Now I enjoy creating gradients in CSS. How amazing is that? Tailwind, if you are a MUI fan, this is me calling you over to the Tailwind CSS bootcamp, to this Tailwind CSS camp. Try it, and you wouldn't regret it. I hope you are subscribed though. Sorry, I'm just coding. I'm just joking. Okay, so featured article. So yeah, featured article. Where am I? Okay, yeah. So I'm going to return, right? I'm going to return featured article, right? I'm going to just spread article in here. Some people say it's bad practice to spread props on components, but sorry, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, you guys are laughing. I appreciate you guys for staying for this long though. Really appreciate, man. So then I can get the index, of course. Then I can make the key. I can just say key equals featured article, because the React docs advises that they don't use index as your key. So sometimes you can just append some string in front of the index. So that's just going to make it unique. And I think the reason for that is, imagine you have 10 things that you're looking through inside of your React, let's say for example on this page, right? I use index and everything is from like 0 to 1, 0 to 1, 0 to 1, right? It becomes difficult for React to track which components are actually changing on that page. That's kind of like the rationale behind that. So if you don't have a unique key coming from your backend, you can just pick, let's say maybe the name of the component, right, and just append some text. I feel like that will generate a unique key for you as well. So not a pro tip, but probably something that you find helpful going forward. Okay, yeah, so let's see what this gives us. Okay, cool. So at least we are sure that the image shows up, right? We are sure that the image shows up. So the next thing now is I am going to say class name equals grid. Oh, you've been using index a lot. Yeah, I used to be a victim of, not a victim. I used to be one of those people that use index a whole lot too, right? So as time went by, I just decided to start appending. Let's say, oh, I'm dealing with a featured article, but let's say I'm dealing with a to-do list. Instead of having to, sorry, I'm trying to make a video for my WhatsApp status. So instead of using index all through the components. Why not just append some text and it kind of becomes unique, because that's what React is really going for. Let it be unique. So yeah, I'm glad you found that helpful. I'm found that I'm able to share tips on this stream that people are actually going to have. Same thing with Ayomide. Oh, interested. You guys should be joining my streams. Oh, I drop tips every now and then. Okay, alrighty. So now we are going to make this a grid, right? Because everything just stacks on top of each other right now, right? I'm going to do grid calls 3, right? Save it up and let's come back in. Boom, we're getting there. Then we just need to add a gap, right? So we can do gap 8, and oh, fantastic. So that adds some spaces for us in between these items. Then the next thing is we need to add some margin to the top of that section, and that's about 220 pixels. But I think that's a lot. I'm sorry, like once I'm writing code, I tend to have opinions, right? In as much as I love designers and I would like to do everything that they've implemented, but sometimes I just feel like some values are a whole lot, right? Especially considering that I use a 13-inch laptop, so 220 pixels might seem quite like a lot. Yeah. These guys, I think, yep, this looks good. You said, why not use Flex? Do you prefer grid over Flex? To be honest, right, I prefer Flex over grid, and I could have used Flex. And considering the fact that you could now use Flex, you could now use Gap with Flex rather. But the thing is, in terms of like browser compatibility, Gap is still not 100% compatible. In fact, let us check, can I use, right? Let us check, can I use .com. And let's check Flex Gap, and let's see what the adoption rate looks like. Oh, the usage now is like 90.75%, right? But one thing though, okay, yeah, there's actually no excuse why I shouldn't be using it, right? I guess, so little story, right? There was a project I worked on last year, right? And I had used Gap with Flex, right? Then the CEO of the company checked the website, and because it was using an old version of Safari or something, right? And the Flex didn't work. Like all the menu items were just like rammed up against each other. So since then I just like prefer to use grid instead of like Flex. But yeah, I could use Flex, I could use grid, like anyone actually works, right? Yeah, so it's not that there's really no preference over the other. It's just what I feel like using depending on like what the layout looks like, right? So okay, so now we have the image showing up. Okay, Seg says he always uses Flex. Okay, it seems we have more people on the stream now. Guys, what do you prefer using? If you have a layout like this, right? Yeah, if you have a layout like this, what do you prefer to use? Flex or Gap? Flex or Gap? I said Flex or Gap. Flex or grid? Flex or grid? Which one is it? Which do you prefer using? If you have a layout like this, you have 3 items, there's some space in between them, and they need to be at both edges. Which do you prefer to use? Flex or Gap? Flex or Gap? Drop comments in the comment section. And subscribe as well. Don't just drop comments and go. Subscribe and check out videos on the channel, man. Okay. So let's get back to it. Okay. So okay, yeah. So we have a featured article now. I think we can begin to show some content in here now. So right, this is going to move from a self-closing tag to a normal tag. Save it off. Okay. For something like this, okay, there's something I'm about to do now. I'm definitely going to use Flex for this. So I'm going to do, yeah, Ayomide says E. Sorry, Ayomide, are you a E or a she? So that I don't, or a them, right? I prefer grid, it is good with gaps. Same here, same reason. Grid born with gap or looks very fantastic with gaps. So div, then I'm going to do text. variant equals, let me see what the size of this guy is. This should be like an H3 or H4 or an H5. So I'm just going to do H4 for now, or H5. Let's just do H5 for now. Then the value, of course, will be title. What else do we need to add in here? I think that's all for now. Then if you're just joining this stream, what do you prefer to work with? Flex or Gap, and why? I was about to say you win something, but you're not winning anything. You are doing it for the betterment of humanity. Summary. Save it up and let's see what that gives us. Okay, yeah. So we have all of this guy, but it is at the top. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is this. If I make this guy flex, I do flex column, flex column, flex column. Then I can do justify end. That's one of the things that we established, and these are the bottom here. Oh, now there is a little problem. And the problem is this, right? Because the multiply, we have a mix, blend, multiply, right? Even the text is also getting multiplied. This is a very interesting problem. So my question is, can we do BG mix, blend, multiply? Oh, we can't do that. Okay, we'll find a way around this, right? I'm thinking of a couple of ways or a couple of things that we can do, right? I'm thinking of a couple of things that we can do. Okay, so we'll most likely remove this guy, remove the blend, multiply, right? Then I'm going to remove the background filter. Okay, so here's what I'm trying to do, right? Or what I want to do. In my head, what I'm trying to do is I will add the, I will do this. I would say BG black for now. Let's see what this gives us. All right, the opacity is 80. Opacity should be 100. Full stop. Now this guy overlaps this guy, right? I'm going to remove this gradient. So things are going to change a little from, things are of course going to change a little from what we had before, right? All right, cool stuff. This image still looks good regardless, right? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do BG gradients. What of Z index? Yeah, so because it affects all these guys, that's the reason why. Because this guy, literally a child. Okay, another idea just came to my head actually. I'm not sure I want to throw that out. Then we have to deal like with a lot of Z indexes, right? Another idea just came to my head, but I'm not going to follow that out yet. But I'll try and explain what it is down the line. Z index could have solved the problem, but I feel like there will be like a lot of complications down the line. So we have BG gradient. Then I'm going to say BG. Oh no, is this going to solve the problem? Okay, yeah. So BG gradient bottom to top. Then I'm going to say from black to transparent. All right, yeah, that's what I want to achieve. And let's see. So then remove BG black. Let's see what that gives us. All right, cool stuff. So now I'm going to adjust the height of this guy. So I'm going to adjust the height. Let me see. I'm just going to try and estimate what the height is. This is from here to here is 131. This guy itself is 32. So 131 plus, let me just use Google. 131 plus 32. I think that should be 163. Cool stuff. So I'm going to say that the height of this div should be, height is 163 pixels. Alrighty. Okay, cool stuff. Now I need to check if I can adjust the stop points for gradients in Tailwind CSS. So just give me a minute to check the Tailwind CSS docs. Tailwind CSS docs. I want to check if I can adjust the stop points. Gradients, linear gradients. So from this guy, breakpoints and media queries. This is not what I'm looking for. This isn't exactly what I'm looking for. Okay. From to right to right to right to right. Let me see. Okay. Because what I want to achieve is having a soft endpoint over here, right? Because right now, okay, let me see. Let me just Google Tailwind CSS gradients stop points. Color stops, okay. From a read starting color from. Okay, so this is the way it works. From then so this guy middle color. Okay, so via interesting. So if I use via black, okay, so let's just do that. Then I just need to add via black. Hopefully it gets darker. Yep. Can you see what we just did here? So it now has a soft stop point. Interesting. So okay. So what I'm going to do is, instead of adding a height, what I did previously was I added a height to this guy. I'm going to remove that height. I'm going to remove this height. I'm going to remove this height. I'm going to remove this height. All right, cool stuff. Then I am going to add some padding left, right, and all the sides. 29 pixels to the left, 29 pixels to the left, 39 pixels bottom. So I'm going to do PL, 29 pixels, PB, 29 pixels, PB, 39 pixels. Let's see what that gives us. Alrighty, yeah. Righty, we get in there. Then I'm going to add some padding top, just to ensure that the text is within this black section. Padding top. Oh, I'll try that. Let me just add padding top of. Okay, I got what you're saying. So instead of to transparent, I can just do to, let's say gray. Let's try that. So gray, gray. Let's do to gray 900 and let's see what that gives us. Oh, that's a hard stop. Maybe we do a lighter version, right? So gray, let's see 200. Let's see what that gives us. Oh no, that's not what we want. I think the transparent. Okay, via gray. Oh, okay. Thank you for that. Via gray. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Via gray. Want intelligence. I'm helpless without intelligence. Gray. Okay. Good stuff. Let's save it up and let's see what that gives us. Oh, okay. This looks good. Nice. Padding top. I'm going to make that 29 pixels as well, just to ensure that the text. Just to ensure that the text is within. Just to ensure that all the text are within the darker portion of this design. Let me do 39 pixels and let's see. All right, cool stuff. So most of this text now is within the darker portion of the design according to what we have in this design. Fantastic. So the only thing missing right now is the read now button. Okay, so I'm going to import a link component. Link. This is a custom component. Oh no, not the Gatsby link. I call this guy n link. And let me just try and I can try and explain what this guy does under the hood. Right. So this is the component. So basically, what I did with this component is to combine Gatsby link and the default anchor tag that ships with HTML. So if you see here now, so we have a couple of props, href, to class name, active class name, children, and all of that, right? I'll get to that later. So n-link element to render, right? That's the element that I want to render. Oh, my internet is getting disconnected. I don't know why. The what do you call it? So the element that we want to render, is it the Gatsby default link or the anchor tag? And the reason for this is because if you try to navigate to an external page with Gatsby link, it's going to show you some errors, some warnings rather, right? So basically what I did is if to, that is, if you pass a prop of to, which is what Gatsby link accepts, then n-link element should be the link, which is the Gatsby link element. Else, it should be the anchor tag, right? If then you pass these props, right? Dot to, this is basically an empty object that you spread into your component eventually, right? Then this particular section, if you pass an href to the custom n-link component, right? If the href is a string, it's just going to navigate to that next page without opening it up in a new page. But if it is an object, right, it's going to navigate it. It's going to navigate to the external page, and it's also going to open a new tab with all these other accessibility stuff that you need to set, no referral, target blank, and all of that. So that's basically what that component is doing, right? Just in case you're wondering why I had to do that. So for now, I'm just going to do to, then just to the home page, right? Then I'm going to wrap the read more component, the read more text in here. Save it up and let's see what we have. So we have read more, cool stuff. Then there's an arrow here. I'm going to export this arrow. Export. Oh, my goodness. SVG. I'm going to what do you call it? Export it as an SVG. Come over here, show in folder. Then I'll just say arrow right. Arrow right. Then arrow right. Okay. So let me just move it in here first. Then move it to SVGs. Then I can now rename it inside of here because that's where my code base is. Arrow right.svg. Right. So what I can do is I have a setup inside of my Gatsby that actually allows me to be able to import SVGs as a component. So I'm just going to come over here and say import arrow right arrow icon from that community Discord. I need to record a video on Cyber, but I'd love to connect and chat more about. Oh, I don't have a community right now, but you could. So we could do this, right? If you come over to the channel here and do about, I think there's an email. Yep. So if you click on view email, oh no, please don't send an email. Let me see if I can drop my email address so that you could just like send me an email. Maybe we could connect on WhatsApp or maybe Twitter. Which would you prefer? Should I drop Twitter? Maybe we could just talk on Twitter about this. I'm actually very excited to talk to people about like YouTube. I'm still trying to grow this YouTube channel, right? We just did like 1K subscribers like last December, right? But there are a couple of things I think I've learned on the journey, right? I don't know that if we talk about it could be helpful. So if you prefer Twitter, I could drop the link to my Twitter. Okay, so let me just get that for you in a minute. Twitter.com. Small. Right. Hopefully. Oh, nice. I should check out your channel. Are you currently chatting with your channel account? Is your channel segments? I'm trying to look for channel. No, I'm not sure this is a channel. Okay. I most likely will just check it out after the chat or something. Oh, wait, I'm coming. Because after this live stream, I'm actually going to sleep so that I don't make a promise and I don't live up to my promise. So let me just make sure that I check it out right now. Oh, and YouTube will not allow me search for, okay. YouTube ads, okay. Oh, nice. Let me subscribe. This is the channel, right? Wait, the profile picture looks different though. So I don't subscribe to the wrong channel. Seems there's a space. I'm not sure if YouTube will allow space between. Yeah, I guess that's much. YouTube wouldn't allow that. But I guess I'll just get to that, right? We are actually okay. seg_font. Okay, cool. Right, for 3 subscribers, and I become your 44th subscriber. Amazing. I'll definitely check out your videos, right? And we could have the conversation on Twitter, which you mentioned as well. Yeah, cool stuff. Thank you so much for joining this show. Really appreciate it. Okay, so let's get back to it. So read more. Whoop, 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 whoop. We're growing. So I'm going to do assets, images. No, should it be images or SVGs? Let me check this guy. Yeah, assets, images, then SVGs. Okay, yeah. Assets, images, SVGs. Then is it right arrow or arrow right? SVGs. Arrow right dot SVG. Save it up. Actually, I have it set up for this inside of Gatsby. That's why I'm able to do this. Gatsby doesn't allow you to do this by default. That's just like a disclaimer. Arrow right icon or right arrow icon. I can't remember what I named. Okay, right arrow icon. Okay, save it up and let us see. All right, cool stuff. So we have this arrow in here right now. Then, of course, what that means is I need to do a class name, right? I'll just do flex. All right, cool stuff. Then items center, cross axis. That's something I learned on this stream as well. Think about it in terms of the cross axis. Then I can come over here and say class name, right? Because margin to the left, ML, I just say 2, 4. Alrighty. So if I want to do some shenanigans, I can probably add some over effects and all that, but nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that, at least not today. So the next thing is I need to add some space here. Margin bottom 8 pixels, so I can just come here, which is margin top 8 pixels, MT2. Practice it and all of that. Cool stuff. And we are almost done with this. So this looks good right now. This looks good. Yeah, but I need to do something here. I need to do overflow. All right, good stuff. I just needed to add that. So read more. It doesn't really do anything for now. It just takes you back to the home page. So in terms of, if you're just joining, please kindly subscribe, like, comment, and share. So in terms of, responsiveness, I think it's pretty obvious what we need to do here, especially for this section. It's just a function of changing the number of columns per, per screen. So I'm going to come over here to featured articles, right? Then I'm going to do LG. Okay, so I'll most likely do MD. Then I'll do grid calls 1. Righty. Let's shift this, adjust it. Okay, I actually don't mind this. It's better for it to be big. Okay, I'm coming. I think I have an issue. Over here, the text is almost overshadowing this, so I didn't want to do this, but it looks like I have to do it. MD grid calls 2. All right, I think this works. So yep. All right, cool stuff. So let's use a real device and let's see what it looks like on a real device. Alrighty, cool stuff. But there is an issue. There's an issue. There needs to be a max width here for this text because this text doesn't quite touch this, and I just don't want to use a padding. So this should be max width of 354 pixels. So max width of this guy. Where is it? Featured articles. Yeah. Featured articles. Featured article. All right, come in here. Featured article, this text, the class name, what's max width of, what's it again? 345 pixels. Whoop. Pixels. Let's check this out on bigger screen. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so it works. Okay, but I have an issue with this in that, okay, maybe what I need to do is adjust, I need to adjust the padding on the left and bottom on mobile, so that, but I feel like there should be a padding to the right on mobile, right? So no matter how little it is, so where's our MPL? Okay, yeah. So I'm going to do MD PL0 because we are sure that on medium screens and laptop screens, it won't reach, right? Because those are large enough that the max width of this guy will not be 345 pixels, right? Then over here, I'm going to do it should be PR, not PL. PR is 4 pixels. Alrighty, so yeah, this works for me. Actually. What else? So let's check what this looks like on mobile actually. Oh, it is a carousel on mobile. Nah, this is not going to happen. We are not doing this. Carousel on mobile, not carousel on PC. That's going to be, I think that there is a disconnect on that front. Wow, I didn't even see that. Definitely not. Even if it's going to be a carousel, definitely not today. Right? Okay. I think for the most part, in terms of responsiveness, this website is actually almost done. I think the only thing left here is over here. This was left aligned. Then on mobile, it is center aligned. So I'll just come over here and do that. And also the top gradient, this gradient guy is gone as well. So where is it? Learn, read, practice. So it should be MD block, then hidden on smaller screens. You laughed. Oh, well, these designers can kill somebody. Like, how will you make what do you call it? How will you make something? How will you make something on mobile? It's not on PC. It's not a carousel. Then on mobile, it is a carousel. How and why? You know, shock you. These are questions we need to ask. Then these designers will go on Twitter and say, my engineer did not develop something. What I ordered versus what I got. No, what you ordered is wrong. What you ordered is very, very wrong. So, yeah, you won't keep a seal. So, okay. So, eating, righty. Now, I need to do something here. So, over here, I'm going to do MD, text left, then here, text center. Righty, cool stuff. Then, why is this guy small? I want to know what variant of button are we using here. Okay, yeah, there's no size per se, so size, let me just do large. Okay, large is not going to cut it for this guy. I'm going to do medium. Okay, medium looks a little too small as well. So let's check the button component and let's check the styling. Button, medium. So we said that the minimum width should be 275 pixels, right? What did we, I think for now, let me just do width full. Let's see what that gives us. Alrighty. Okay, and I actually know what's going on here. It has to do with line height and all of that. We are going to deal with that. Let me remove this guy. So I just get to be sure. So I'm going to come over here and index.js, that's the home page. And I'm going to say that the button should be medium. Okay, yeah, so it's medium now. Large, how about large? Alrighty. So of course, this text here, let me see if I can zoom in. It's not vertically aligned, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to button. I'm going to come over here. Alternative. There's something I need to do here to the line height. Or let me remove the height. Instead of height, let me do padding instead. So then the padding EY is going to be half of this, right? That will be 29 pixels, right? 29 pixels. Let's see if that solves the problem here. Let me refresh. Okay, it doesn't solve the problem. Let me do leading. Okay. I need to change the line height. Let me just check the Tailwind CSS docs. I need to change the line height. Line height. So yeah, leading, right, is, let me just do leading. Let me just do leading 10, and there should be some changes. Leading 10. There should be some changes or some adjustment at the very least. Oh, this guy is proving stubborn. Interesting. It's got a lot of people that are stubborn. Okay. So let's see. Line height, 38 pixels, and that had no impact whatsoever. Okay. The span. I think I'm applying the leading to the wrong place. think there should be a leading in this component. There should be somewhere I applied leading. Okay, yeah, So this should be MD leading. There should be some adjustment. Okay, yeah, there you have it. You have some adjustment. So then let me just do 42 pixels or something. Yeah, so it's coming to the center now. Or let me do 58 pixels. Okay, too much. 52 pixels. Kind of there. So 100%. Kind of there. Okay, cool stuff. All right, and that works. That works fantastically. Let me change music. I think we're actually almost done for today. We're almost done for today's session. We'll continue wherever we stopped today. I think we made some really good progress today. I mean, oh my God, my back hurts. Dock to the side. Okay, yeah. So I just want to see the progress that we made so far. Cool stuff. So I should mention that eventually this content, these profiles and all of that will actually be sourced from a, from a CMS, WordPress. But we are not dealing with that for now. That will be like maybe like in 2 weeks time or something. Let me see what the footer looks like. This footer looks scattered, but we can find a way around it. So the footer.jsx. Footer.jsx. Let's see. Navigation. Flex, justify, center, flex, wrap. All right, yeah. So this works. So if we have more items, it's just going to get aligned to the center here, right? And MX, right? So MD, MY is 0, but on mobile, MY should be 14 pixels or 20 pixels. 14 pixels. I think I'm cool with that. 14 pixels seems much. Let's do 7 pixels. Just to ensure that there's some horizontal padding spacing in between these items. Alrighty. If you made it to this session, if you made it to the end of today's session, thank you so much for joining. Let me put who is the last person on this stream? What's your name? So I can thank you for joining. In name, I'll be in person, right? Not in person, like in name. So I just don't say the generic thank you to everybody. So I can actually say, oh, thank you so for joining us for this session. I think we are pretty much done with the homepage for now. The pending things now are things like the About Us page, this section. So the About Us page, there is one more section that we didn't do. But most likely we'll do that next week, which is the brands section. Ayomide, yep. Thank you so much, Ayomide. Thank you. I want to create a banner for you for making it. Thank you for waiting till the end, Ayomide. And banner. Thank you for waiting till the end, Ayomide. If you are just joining this live stream, this is the end of the stream. Kindly subscribe so that you know when we go live by next week. Ayomide, please Did you find this session interesting? Do you think you will join again next week? I hope to see you next week. It was really nice having you in the chat section. It was super encouraging just to have somebody to talk to and all of that, instead of just being like in my room, just writing code and just talking to myself. Right? I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found some value from this session. We are going to continue next week. And cheers! And don't forget to build like a boss. That's actually our slogan. Yeah, thank you. Bye for now.